we've got about we've got about 20 people on the call, which is great. I see a lot of new names and faces that I haven't seen before, which is wonderful. But first of all, thank you all for being here, and thank you for being part of CORFAC. And I'm Jonathan Salk. I'm CEO of CORFAC. I've been here for going on 9 years. And then Jennifer and Diane, this is your CORFAC staff. We're lean. There's 2.5 of us. Jennifer and I are full-time. Diane's part-time. So if you think you got a big group of staff, we don't. But we're lean and we're mean, and we like to think we get a lot accomplished. But most importantly, thank you for being part of CORFAC. And I know there's groups on here that have been around for a long time and some that are new. But and for those firms that are relatively new, you probably had a CORFAC 101 when you joined. And what we want to accomplish here is it's very informal. I mean, we're going to run through something as a staff for 10 or 15 minutes, but we welcome questions. And we just thought, Diane had a brainstorm a few months ago and said, why don't we just do a CORFAC 101 for everybody and see who shows up? And here we are, and we've got 22 people so far. And so that's what we're going to do. So why don't we get rolling? The slide that you see there is, for those of you who haven't been to a CORFAC conference, that's a reception going on that happened in Seattle last fall. And Diane will talk a little bit later about the conferences, but we typically get 125 to 150 people. For those who aren't signed up, we're going to be in Detroit in about 7 weeks, which is going to be fabulous. And it's a great story, not only of what Detroit went through and where it is now, but it's just a great commercial real estate story. So I hope you guys can make it there. So anyway, I won't spend a lot of time on the next few slides. I'm sure I know some of you are very familiar with CORFAC, and others probably say, well, yeah, I know our firm has a CORFAC affiliation, but CORFAC has its roots in SIOR. It was formed 34 years ago. A small group of SIOR sitting around an SIOR conference said, we think there's room for another network. And here we are 34 years later with, going strong. We've got 70 offices around the world. We've got 800 people within those 70 offices. So we've got firms that have 5 or 6, and we've got firms that have, 80 or 100. So, but our average size firm is about 15 to 20 people. And we continue to grow, and it's exciting, not only on the domestic side, but we're growing a lot internationally as well, which is fun to watch. So you can see on the map that Diane had up there, it just tells you where the offices are, and we're getting more dots. And when we go out and recruit, we're not looking just to put a dot on the map. We want to make sure, and we have a quality firm in a market that we need assistance. This gives you a sense of the type of deals that are done in CORFAC year to year. These numbers are pretty consistent. They go up a little bit every year. But if you look at this, I said that we have our roots in SIOR, and that's why, CORFAC is still heavy on the industrial and office side. But when I started almost 9 years ago, that retail number was probably more like 10%. So the retail side has grown, and our offices are truly full service. They do a bit of everything, and we're getting more and more that are getting into the medical side and development and property management, et cetera. So this is just a look at the deals that are done in the network. This slide, and again, I'm not going to read you this slide, but the reason you join a network like CORFAC is because you want to do deals, obviously. And we've tried to put an emphasis on that. And I would say to all of you, and some are very, very good at inputting their deals in the system. But I would encourage you all to always put your deals in the CORFAC database, and Diane will show you later how that's done. But and what's important about that is it allows us to collect data every year and use that as a promotion of CORFAC in our marketing. But it's also every bit as important to put your clients in there because, and again, Diane will cover this later, we have a client search. So if one of you says, oh, I wonder if anybody's doing business with McDonald's, you can go in and type in McDonald's and see if anybody else has had experience, and then you can contact that firm and say, hey, can you give me a connection? So we're always pushing, and I know you all get a lot of emails from us as a staff, but we're always pushing to remind you to input that data, input those clients, and think CORFAC first. If you've got a client in the market, always say to that client, hey, we've got representation in 70 markets around the world. So we're here to help. And that's generated a lot of new business lately. So it's been fun to watch. And some of you have heard me say this before, but one of the first things I heard when I started at CORFAC was from a founding member in Los Angeles who said, I use CORFAC like my board of directors, meaning he'll send a note out to all CORFAC members about an issue, a problem, and he knows within 24 hours, he's going to get 8, 10, 12 responses to that. So keep in mind, and again, Diane and Jennifer and I are going to cover more of this later on how to do it, but just know that you can send a note out to all CORFAC members at any time and ask them a question or push a property or ask if, they have something that you're looking to do. And then the last bullet on this slide is we've been doing some investment sales calls on a quarterly basis, and those have been very popular, and we've seen some deals result out of that. And it's essentially people who have haves and needs and are looking for someone who might have an interest. And we typically have 20 to 25 people on those calls, and it's been very good. Marketing and branding, Jennifer's going to cover that in a little bit and some of the things we do. And I think I saw Patricia on the call. Patricia is marketing and PR consultant that we have 30 hours a month with. She's not a staff member per se, but we like to think of her as a staff member, and she does a lot of work for us. And then Diane will show you the second bullet, some of the technology and education discounts. We've worked hard with different companies and to get discounts on certain products and services. And it's allowed us to say, because I'm a CORFAC member, I get 10% or whatever that number is off that product and service. And one of the things I'm excited about is one of our most recent ones is with Zoom Info. And we got 30% off that. And I don't know how many of you use Zoom Info, but it's a really great product. Then I mentioned early on, you join a network because you want to do business together. This last bullet here, I think every bit as important as that is the ability to exchange best practices. And for those of you who have been to a conference, you know that. If you haven't been to a conference, great way to meet people, great way to find out what others are doing. Since COVID started, we've done probably 100 Zoom programs on all sorts of different topics, and all of those are archived. So if you ever want to look back and say, and Diane will show you some of this stuff, if you ever want to look back and say, I wonder if there's a session on XYZ, you can check that out. You see the first bullet. This has been a very big push for us, the support of our next gen. And our current, all the past chairs have done a great job, but our current chair, Brody Cohen, has made it a huge priority for him. And it's resulted in probably 20% of the attendance at our conferences these days are from next gens. And we define next gens as 35 and under, or 7 years or less in the business. And that's exciting to watch. Second bullet, we have a presence. And I know some of you have been at these shows to see that presence, but we're going to be at Expo Real for those international partners in October in Munich. We have a big presence at ICSC and SIOR and CSAM as well. So all of those places have been good recruiting grounds for CORFAC, but it's also been a great opportunity to just tell people who we are. And the next two, the third bullet, I don't think I need to cover. And the fourth bullet is, I talked about online education, and we like to try to do programming for our members at least every other month. We are probably good at doing it every month, but it could be a specialized program on an economist. We've got our investment sales call coming up, Jennifer, I think in this month. Is it this month? Yeah, we've got one coming up. So we always try to do some programming, and not for the sake of doing programming, but things that are timely and we think our members will like. And Jennifer, you want to, since I've rambled on here for a while, do you want to talk a little bit about the app?
Sure, I'd be happy to. My name is Jennifer Norbit, and as Jonathan mentioned, I'm one of the 3 CORFAC staff members that are here to support the network. And the areas I handle are marketing, the website, communications. I assist with conference planning, and we sort of all wear many hats on staff, as Jonathan mentioned. But one of the areas that the technology committee focused on in recent years is the CORFAC app that is exclusively for CORFAC members to use as a mobile way to connect with other people in the network. So if you haven't already downloaded the app, we strongly encourage you to go to the Apple Store or Google Play, I think it is, and download the CORFAC app and just use it as an extension of your resources for connecting with CORFAC members. We have the index of features available in the app, and we're looking at making some additional updates to the app in the next year or so. So it's a nice way to stay connected and kind of have the CORFAC network at your on your mobile device.
Do you want me to do this, Jennifer, or you want to?
Well, I can continue on this, and Jonathan, I would like for you to jump in and add comments, and Diane as well. But we also have a relationship with the industry technology platform Build Out, and they've been a great partner with CORFAC since day one, and they are a listing and marketing platform that hopefully many of you have seen or know of. One of the additions we added to the CORFAC membership benefits in, I think it was 2017, is that we have a free, I guess, membership or subscription for all CORFAC members to use Build Out and provide their listings on the CORFAC website. It's called Build Out Sync. It's kind of their base entry level system. But as a member of CORFAC, your firm has the opportunity to upload listings that are then displayed on the CORFAC website here. And it's been a great traffic generator. We see a lot of activity around that on CORFAC's website. So it's another way to get exposure for your listings through the network. And if you aren't set up with it and you'd like to be, please contact headquarters, and we're happy to get your login and your information to you so you can take advantage of that. Jonathan, there's probably things I missed if you want to add.
No,
I'd like to add one thing really quick. It does not have international capacity. I know there are international people on the call, build out is working on that, but it's just for domestic US based for
And I
listing.
do they have service for Canada as well?
I believe so, but
Yeah.
international beyond that, they do not.
Yeah. So
You want to keep
I'll
rolling?
keep going. The
you.
investment sales platform is another benefit for CORFAC members. This was an initiative that was created by our 2021 president, Mason, or 2022 president, Mason Capitani. He wanted to create an opportunity for members in the network to share investment haves and needs in an online format. So there, and we'll look at it in a moment. Diane's going to toggle over to the website, but there's a very basic platform for members to share online haves and needs online with other members. And it's an extension of CORFAC's investment sales calls, which, as Jonathan noted, we have one coming up at the end of August. So you'll be seeing some communication about that. And if you have any investment opportunities, whether they're inbound or outbound, we encourage you to participate in the call and share those. We've seen several connections in the network for that have been great ways to do business together. So we'll show you that in a little bit, and we encourage you to take part in our upcoming call.
So we have I'm Diane Harris. I'm the meetings and membership manager. And as I jokingly say, Jonathan does the sexy part and recruits members. And then I take care of all the clerical stuff after that. So if you have adjustments to your listings on the website for your staff, in a few minutes, I'm going to go through everything on the website, but if you have any questions about that, you would direct them to me. But one of the things I handle is our annual meeting. We do a spring and fall conference. It is a great opportunity for you to network with other CORFAC offices. And when we first started planning this, I've been doing event planning for 25 years. And I remember planning all these events, and then you guys would stand around and drink at the bar, and I'd think, I've done all this work and look at them. And then later I realized that it's part of your industry to get to know one another and find out what each of you do for your job, so that you can contact each other after the fact to do business. So now I know you're not just standing around and drinking, you're multitasking. But we provide lots of opportunities at the conference for education about the industry, education about how you run your most of you are small business owners, so run your businesses, next gen programming. And then we also have sponsors at our conference. So those are exhibitors that you can get to know and find out what is up and coming in the industry that can help you do your job better on a day-to-day basis. So we really encourage people to attend the conference. And we have a tab on our website that lists future events. And again, we encourage everybody to attend.
And I'll just add on to what Diane said. We've done a couple of regional conferences in the US over the last couple of years. So those we do those occasionally. And for those international members, I know a few of you attended a recent meeting in Milan. And thrilled to say that there were almost 30 people at that meeting. And it's become an annual gathering of primarily our European folks to get together in the summer and talk business and get to know one another. So that event is growing quite a bit as well. So Diane, you want to get to the fun stuff?
Stay up here. So if you are not familiar with our website, I encourage you to go to corfac.com and just poke around. Our website really has sort of two purposes. One is a tool for you as practitioners, part of the network. And then the other tool it is for people that are looking to find a broker, just for the general public to find out information about what we are. And again, a lot of it is pretty straightforward and obvious here. But one of the things that I find myself using all the time is just for our offices page. And I think this is great, not just for members of the organization, but for the general public. You can look up people by country, by states, by broker name, by firm location, firm name. And then we also have a PDF roster of all our offices, and that's great just to have that downloaded. We update it every couple months as firms are added or leave the network. And that's a great resource just to have to know everybody that's in the system. And as Jennifer talked about, we have our build out sync on here. And this is again, real time based on the properties that you guys participate with build out on to have listed in here. And then here are the investment sales opportunities that also populate on our site after you guys put them in. I'm trying to think of what else would probably be good in here. Again, just general information about us. I encourage you to poke around, but I think the thing that'll probably be of most interest to you guys on the call is we have something we call the extranet or the member section of the website. And each and every one of you should have login information. Traditionally, it is the first letter. So for me, it would be D Harris is your login. And then you have a unique password to get in. But if you don't have that information, shoot me an email. I'm Diane at corfac.com, DIANN at corfac.com. And I can either set you up with an account or reset your account so that you can log into it. But having that will, you'll get an intro, you'll get a welcome letter that tells you how to log in and all that good stuff. But this is really the section of the website that I would think you guys would be using the most. And it is super user friendly. And Jennifer and our web designer have done a great job. There's some quick link items here that are the primary things that are of the most interest to folks. And then we have tabs at the top and whatnot. But so there's a key people in your office that are labeled firm editors. So it's basically people that have a higher sort of clearance level. And they are the folks that have access to my firm profile. And again, if you want someone from your office to have this privilege, shoot me a note and let me know. But it allows you to edit everybody from your office. I'm going to show you how you can update your profile page. I encourage all of you to go in, add a photo, put a bio in, any designations you have, areas of that you specialize in. But if you have staff that are not doing that, you can go in this way. That key firm editor can go in, and you see all the staff that are listed here can go in and do some of those edits too. But it's sort of like a LinkedIn profile. You can, here, let's do. So here is just from that quick links page is where your profile is. Now, keep in mind that this is handy for a variety of reasons. Let's say you go to the meeting or you have an email exchange with another CORFAC member. This is where they're going to come. They're going to see your picture. Oh yeah, that's the guy I met at this meeting. Or, oh, that's, I just had a call with him last week, or an email exchange. And all obviously your contact information, your bio, your designations, any other information you want to include in here would be a great, sort of like a business card, so to speak. Let's see, there's some things in here. So let's do as Jonathan said, a lot of our members, they really rely on each other to get advice about the network and just how to run their businesses. And this is a way, an email system that you can email all CORFAC members. So, and you can do it a variety of ways. You can send it to everybody. You can do it by region, by firm. So let's say I'm going to send this to, I'm just going to send this to people in my office. So I would say CORFAC International. Hit next. And then it's going to list, check all people that I want to send a note to. I'm going to click next. And then your message preloads here, even with whatever you have in the system for your address, and your contact information will preload. And then, you know, you just put in here what your email is, type your message in, preview your message, and then you can send that to everybody that you've selected that you want to send a note to. The other way that you can send a note to folks is through, if you know, sometimes there's spam filters if you're sending an email with a large number of email addresses. The other thing you can do is just run a report. So you can come in here and say, I'm going to run a report by firm. You just pick the firms that you want to run the report for, export, and then that is going to download as an Excel document. And the other thing that's nice about this is it's a dynamic Excel document. So I had a member reach out to me the other day and he said, hey, you know, I've been in the network for a long time. I'd like to send a note to all the principals and reintroduce myself. Hey, you know, this is the market I work out of, and this is what I'm up to. Let me know if you have any business in my market. And so I pulled the report for him. You can do it. I'm happy to do it. And this allows you to, he mailed them old school, because people get so little mail these days, they pay attention to it more. So he did a mail merge and did labels and sent a note to folks in the network for the markets that he was interested in working with. Let's see, what else have we got in here? So another thing that Jonathan mentioned is we really like all of you to enter in your transactions from your offices into our system. And what that basically does is it creates a yellow or white pages, so to speak, of all the transactions that have happened within our network. So we were doing a specialized 101 training, which, sidebar, we will do a specialized 101 training just like this for your firm. I do individual training. So if you have key staff that are going to be doing some of the things that we show you today, you're going to have a point person, which is what we recommend. I'm happy to get on a call with them and do individualized training. But we were doing an individualized training with a new office out of Minneapolis, which they're not so new anymore, but Lisa Christensen from that office asked, have you ever done business with, has anybody in the network ever done business with Sherwin-Williams? So I said, let's look and see. So we put Sherwin-Williams in here, and look, lo and behold, we had 2 offices and 2 of our brokers that have done business with Sherwin-Williams. And you can see here, it lists all the information, the details of the transaction. And if it's multiple transactions, again, it can be downloaded in an Excel document. And, you know, then you could even just go into transactions and you could look at, let's pick on those Porter folks again. I think one of them is on the call. Let's see. I'd like to see what Kevin Cox has been up to these days. So I'm going to see all the transactions that Kevin has done in the past 6 months. I met him at the meeting. I want to see if he's just loafing around or if he's working. Look at this. Look at all these transactions that Kevin has been up to. And they're all listed in here, who the transaction was with. It even tells you what kind of transaction it is. So some are CORFAC to CORFAC office transactions or non-CORFAC referrals. And again, you can do download as an Excel document and sort that information.
And Diane, let me just add something real quick. So I know with some of you, there may be reluctance to put a client and information in. That's not really what we're looking for. I mean, we don't expect you to give us the client's personal phone and email and all that. But I think if you show that you've done business with a certain company and another CORFAC member goes in and sees that, at least they can contact you and say, can you make an introduction for me? So I've heard that argument before that, you know, I'm not going to put my clients all the information in there.
Yeah, and by the way, to encourage and incentivize people to put transactions in the system, we actually have awards at our spring conference. There are certain categories, you know, cross-border deals, largest land, largest retail, in square footage and dollar amount, and we present. They're beautiful awards you can put on your desk so you look like you're even more fabulous than you already are. So that's we pull reports of all the transactions that have been put in there, and some people put in anonymous, like, hey, I just did this $3 million deal. I want to put this in here. You can put anonymous. And then Jennifer does a great job. She takes a look at the awards and she'll reach out to you and confirm the information, even if some of it is anonymous. But again, you can look at transactions by country. You can look at by type, by region, by location. So it's really very handy.
And Diane, if I could add one other thing, I know there's more rules and restrictions, it seems, in Europe with what you can share and what you can't share. And just to let you know that Alistair in London and Ian in Dublin did a deal last year and they won an award. And they couldn't, there was only so much they could disclose. But I guess my point is that you can still share a certain amount of information without giving everything.
And then I'm going to blather on just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to let Jennifer talk about a couple of these tabs. So we have industry partners. So Jonathan has been, he looks young, but he's been in the industry for decades, working with specifically in commercial real estate for many, many, many years. And he never burns a bridge. I've seen him work magically with these companies. Somehow he gets this stuff out of them. But these are, you know, through relationships that he has in the industry, he has negotiated discounts with all these companies. And another quick sidebar, if you're wanting to work with a company that we don't have a discount with, but you have a little bit of a relationship with, if you go on our website and see a market that we don't have an office in, send a note to Jonathan, because he knows people everywhere. So we can, you know, leverage that relationship and facilitate discounts with companies. And also in markets that we don't have a firm, but you're interested in doing business, Jonathan sometimes has contacts in those markets. And sometimes we facilitate those folks to join the network as a result too. But
so Diane, we just had a question from Trent.
Okay.
In the chat, and it said, can we bulk upload / add transactions via Excel upload if we need to catch up?
Jennifer, isn't the answer to that yes?
I believe there is a way to do that, and I can follow up after the call.
Yeah.
I don't have all the details right at the top of my head, but I believe you can do that.
What I tell firms is we know that you're busy people and we're realistic about what you can and cannot enter, but we like every firm to be submitting some level of their transactions into the system is what is ideal. And I know I won't pick on certain firms, but we do have firms that there's a point person in their office and they say to their brokers, you know, give me your transactions, and a point person from the office, you know, I'm thinking specifically of an office, and the gal sits on Friday mornings because I get emails from her when she has questions about it not going in right, or she accidentally keyed something in wrong. Can I delete the transaction so she can re-enter it? And it's like the last Friday of the month that she sits and puts everybody transactions in. So anyway, so Jennifer, we'll have you talk about some of our CORFAC tools and resources here. Oh, I can say conference materials, Jonathan mentioned that. So we have all of our conference materials from all of our past meetings. And you can even search, just do a general search of all the resources. So if you're thinking about, I love to give this example because I find it interesting. When we were in Detroit, they were one of the first states in the United States that legalized marijuana. And we had a panel on the legalization of marijuana and how it affects retail and industrial and working with municipalities to get approval for that. So, and that was at our Denver meeting. So we have information on that panel that we executed on there. So again, if there's a topic that you're interested in, the chances are we may have information on it.
And we just had another question in the chat. How far back should we go in time for transactions? Threshold size requirements, question mark. So I don't think we need you to go back 20 years. I would say, you know, if you could go back, and Jennifer and Dan, you correct me if I'm wrong, but 3 years. I mean, if you haven't put anything in recently, otherwise they probably get a little stale. But again, I think for me, if I was one of you, the most important thing to me would be the ability to look up a potential client or someone that's done business. And then threshold size, Dan, there's never been a minimum, has there?
I think there was for a while, but you know, we call it the beauty and the curse of CORFAC is we are very flexible. So I will look back. Do you remember what it was, Jennifer? Wasn't it 33,500?
Was anything over 500,000. And then as far as square footage, that I
think it was it 3,500 square feet and above, or was it less than that?
I need to.
I'll double check. I've got it. But again, you know, we say that, but there are firms that put all their transactions in. And there's some firms that just put in their top, you know, however many deals they did that year. So, you know, reach out to Jennifer and I, and we can do an individual session with you and get you some of that supporting documentation too.
But again, what do you guys think? What's your hunch on how far back to go?
I think there's a gray area there. If you're a firm that's recently joined, I would do it just within a year if you've recently joined. If you've been part of the network for a while, I would go back further, you know, 2-3 years. And feel free, by the way, to shout out or put things in the chat, or I know I'm like blathering on and on here, but Jennifer, it's all good information. We get so excited about this because it's our jobs and we like our jobs. But Jennifer, do you want to talk about some of the CORFAC toolkit?
Sure, I can. So on the left tab, we call it the CORFAC toolkit, and it's an index of resources and tools that firms can use that sort of provides a snapshot or about CORFAC information. So we have everything from marketing materials, you know, 1-page fact sheet about CORFAC that you can use in a pitch deck, or you could share it if you're going to an industry event and you want to talk about this extended network that you have. You can provide that. We have a brand awareness video that you can also use that talks about the CORFAC network and the value of doing business with a CORFAC firm. We have CORFAC advertisements. You're welcome to use and co-brand and use if you'd like to, if you are looking to expand your footprint in industry media resources. We have CORFAC logos and the branding manual. And this is an area that I really want to emphasize. We strongly encourage every firm to brand with CORFAC. The branding guidelines are very, there aren't a lot of requirements. We just would like all firms to use the CORFAC logo as part of their industry of presence. So on your website, in your email signature, it's not, it really helps expand the overall brand awareness of the network when all the firms at a local level are branding. And it's pretty easy to do. So I'm happy to help with that as well, if you have questions. We've got a few other things here. We mentioned the virtual program content. We've got some help guides for the build out sync integration. If you'd like to take part in that, you can see we've got some help guides there. And a few other tools. So again, if you have questions, please reach out. We're happy to help you get set up. I know this is kind of a laundry list, but yeah, thank you. We appreciate your willingness to brand and use the tools we have. There are a few deal-making resources here that Jonathan alluded to. We've got a CORFAC firm profile document that just is a one-page snapshot of every firm in the network. The investment sales platform user guide. It's a very easy to use platform, but we have a guide there that provides some step-by-step information. If you want to hop over to that, Diane, that'd be great. It's a real, it's not a fancy, this is a pretty bare bones index, but the information we received from members when we were putting this together was that it doesn't need to be flashy, it just needs to be functional. And so you'll see that we've got a simple index of listings, and then if you click on the tab that says post to have or need, Diane, on the right. Again, very basic and a simple platform where you can enter the information and attach a marketing flyer or deck about the opportunity, and it connects to your member profile in CORFAC. So people can contact you directly if they'd like more information. I think that's the high level overview. I do want to mention one other person who's on the call, and Jonathan mentioned her earlier, our public relations and marketing consultant, Patricia True-Agos, is on the call, and she's a fantastic resource if you'd like any assistance with press release distribution or content creation, or if you see an inquiry from Patricia looking for thought leadership or commentary, please, we encourage you to respond and give her that content. It helps us create a bigger presence for CORFAC and showcase your expertise. So she's available and a great resource as well.
Does anybody have any questions that can put it in the chat? Maybe Jonathan, you can read them, or if anybody wants to call out any questions.
I think the only chat question that I hadn't addressed was from Trent. And he said the slides that you had us fill out sometime last year that indicated past and current clients together with our target clients, have you guys scanned those for any matches? And Trent, I got to say, I don't remember where we did that, or I don't know. I see that you're still on the call.
That is, Jonathan, that is the deal making resources.
Yeah,
that is the firm template profile.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
so
that's
what you would do is go in and look at that. It is an arduous, so give it a minute to download. It is a document that has every single one of our offices, assuming they filled out a form and sent it back. We nag folks. So thank you, Trent, for sending it back.
Sure.
And that's in there. So it's basically like, look, Trent, when you go to our conference, you're going to get a crash course in that form. You know, you're going to meet people, you're going to chat with people. But for folks that can't attend the meeting, this really gives you a snapshot of every single firm. You know, who are the key folks at the firm, who have they worked with?
I think you asked about cross-checking it for a client overlap, and yeah, we haven't done that recently, and that is something that we can do and will do.
Okay, thank you.
And Trent, just to let you know, it'll be your first conference, and I know you've been here a couple of years, but you'll have an opportunity to get up and introduce yourself at the opening session, because that's what we like to do with new clients or new firms or firms that haven't been to a conference. So,
All right. I'm looking forward to that.
so I know we've thrown a lot of stuff at you in a short period of time. And, in the interest of time, and we've still got 10 minutes. If we needed to go a little farther or more, that's fine with us. But as Diane said, we can do these sessions individually for your firms only. We can do these for individuals. So I know this is a start. We're throwing a lot of information at you, but, I think, whether you're a firm that's been here 6 months or 20 years, there's firms that have been here for a while that don't have a real good handle on what CORFAC offers. And that's why we want to do these programs on a regular basis. So questions for us?
Trent has a question in the chat. Jennifer, it's about the marketing information that we have on the website.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I was just curious, that $10 billion number, if that was an assumption based off of like what people have reported in firm profiles or actual transactions that have been reported into the system so far. I just didn't know where that.
It's based on actual transactions. I don't know if you remember, we used to do a firm census, which we will resume here shortly. So we would tabulate that. And is that correct, Jennifer?
Correct.
Cool.
Any other thoughts? Whether it's a new firm with just a general question or a firm that's been around for a little bit that might want to share a little wisdom.
I'd like to thank you, Jonathan, for your quick reply on providing us with the CORFAC reference letter for our discussion with Polish banks. We're a new CORFAC member. We're only a year in CORFAC. My name is Lucas from CORFAC Poland. We've had this difficulty, and this seems to be a certain trend and assumption on the Polish market that banks wish to work only with international agencies, which is a challenge for boutique companies. And we're very, very grateful for providing us with this reference letter, and we'll definitely give you a feedback in, let's say, 2 months. How has our talks with the banks and our challenge to get signed up for being a bank approved company for providing bank valuations works out. So many thanks for working so quickly with us. And we're looking forward, and we hope that this will actually be a game changer for us in this one branch of our services that we provide on the Polish market.
Can't wait to hear. Well, always know, Jennifer, Diane, and I are here if you all need anything. We're pretty, we're all wired kind of the same way 24/7. So if you have a simple question, a difficult question, feel free to contact us at any time. That's what we're here for. And just thank you all for being part of CORFAC. That's all, unless someone has something else.
Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
See
you.
you soon.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Good job. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you. Take care.